Shut up! Hello everybody and welcome back to Ace Productions. Today we are going to be looking and ranking some of the most amazing cosplays I and others have ever made. We're not exclusive to Five Nights at Freddy's content today. We've got any fandom on the table. You'll see some of my personal favorites. Now do not fret if you're only watching my videos for a certain fandom. Do not worry. I will be making videos for all my fandoms at separate times. Otherwise, why don't we go ahead and jump into this one with some... I think the first cosplay we can go ahead and start with should probably be something other than Five Nights at Freddy's, considering I just posted a FNAF video last time. Why don't we start with the fandom I least like seeing cosplays from, because they usually look something along the lines of this. I do have one exception. I personally really love this cosplay by Vilu Vector. Please let me know if I butchered that. I probably did. Some portions of the design I really like include his shiny coat over the whole suit, his perfectly sculpted helmet. Personally, this is one of the Sonic cosplays I like. Unless they're human characters like Eggman or Eggman's grandfather, they usually look really bad. For this cosplay, I'm giving it a solid 10 out of 10. Why don't we go ahead and move on to... This is another fandom that I don't usually like seeing cosplays from, though there are some exceptions, such as Casey Jones. Why don't we start with that? This is a lovely cosplay. I think it looks really good, and I love the mask. It is kind of hard to mess up a Casey Jones cosplay, so I gotta deduct it a point. Not because the cosplay is bad or anything, but because it isn't super difficult to make or recreate. This one gets a 9 out of 10. Next, I've got... This is a beautiful cosplay. Most people aren't able to make something like this. The shape of the mask and the head are perfect here. This is a beautiful cosplay. It gets an 8.5 out of 10. Those are all the cosplays from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series. Why don't we move on to Five Nights at Freddy's now? Every cosplay I'm about to show you are all from the same creator, titled The Regular Sauce. I love his cosplays. They are some of the best I've ever seen in my life. Here are some images of his cosplays. My personal favorite is his Springtrap cosplay. All of these are getting a 10 out of 10. He manages to make all his cosplays very smooth. I imagine he uses a 3D printer to make sure they look the best they can. He also adds lights and mechanics to some of his cosplays. Next up for Five Nights at Freddy's cosplays, I'm going to be showing some of my creations. I'm not very happy with most of these, and I'm not going to rate myself because of how extremely humble I am. So let's start off with my spring body mask. This is one of my favorite items I've made. I made this using cardboard, hot glue, and paper. Overall, I made this and most of my other items using hot glue and paper and cardboard to show that you can cosplay without any necessary budget, just household items. I didn't need to buy anything to make this one. I just used everything I could find. And that also goes for the next item I'm going to show you. This is another mask I have made out of cardboard. I think this is a better item than the Spring Bonnie one was. It was a bit more difficult to make, but with enough time, anything can be done. This next cosplay is from a fandom that I've been in the longest, Marvel. I love Marvel. The movies, the comics, everything about it. It's always been super fun for me, and I've always dreamed of having my own powers. One character that I didn't really like as much when I was a kid, but I started to enjoy more growing up, is Deadpool, and that's who our first cosplay is going to be from. This is one of my favorite cosplays. It's absolutely beautiful the way he made this. The mask is honestly so cool. It's peak. I wouldn't change a thing. It's beautiful. I love the colors, I love the look, I love the eyes, the mask, every bit of it. I'd also like to let you all know that if there's any portion in this video where you're wondering who made the cosplay or who the creator is, I'll make sure to list every single person who made each of these cosplays, except for me when I've made my cosplays because you're looking at them. in either the description or along with the picture I put up of each cosplay. I really hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. This was one of the best cosplays I've ever seen, and honestly, I've just got to take a second to explain how cool it is. It's just so cool. I don't even know what words to use. This obviously gets a 10 out of 10. I love the swords and the guns as well. They're really cool. I've said cool too many times. That's a sign I need to move on. Next! I know I just said that I need to move on because I kept saying the word cool, but I'm about to say it again because our next creator is PSM, otherwise known as Probably Spider-Man, who has got to be one of my favorite creators of all time. He just makes the coolest suits and cosplays. Everything he makes is perfect. It doesn't even matter what he does. He takes overly complicated designs and ideas and somehow makes them perfect, even though they're not quite necessarily a design I enjoy. No matter what he touches, he always makes it perfect. It's like he's got the Midas touch of Spider-Man cosplays. It's awesome. Everything I've ever seen him make is beautiful. That's why I'm not picking out a specific one. I'm just gonna say that everything he's made is a 10 out of 10 in my eyes because it is all so beautiful. Even the one he ripped on camera for us all to see. Probably Spider-Man is such a huge inspiration to me, and he even taught me the method I use to make my cosplays now. At least my Spider-Man ones. Honestly, he's such an inspiration to me that I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that he's a large portion as to why I even wanted to start this YouTube channel, as much as I did when I recently felt like it. He is one of my favorite YouTubers of all time. I know I've already said that, I just felt the need to state it again, just so that it was clear. In all of his suits, there isn't even one thing that I don't enjoy. There's always at least one thing that I do enjoy. Every time there's at least one detail that I can find that I enjoy about his suits, even if it's a design that I completely despise and disgust, he'll find a way to make me enjoy it. His fabric choice, his personal design tweaks and changes, everything about them I love. Next up, we've got this beautiful Wolverine cosplay. Just look at it. This is an easy 10 out of 10 right off the bat. I mean, the colors, the mask, the look of the suit, the shapes, everything. I love the way this was done, and it just feels so cool. I'm hoping they incorporate some design elements similar to these in the finalized version of the Wolverine suit we see in the film Deadpool 3. Can't wait for that movie. It's gonna be awesome. Overall, this cosplay also gets a 9.5 out of 10. Next up, I'd like to go on to show some of my personal Marvel cosplay items. I've got a Deadpool mask and 2 Spider-Man suits I'd like to show. Let's start off with the Deadpool mask, shall we? I used cardboard, a hot glue gun, and a 3D print. Oh, and fabric. If you're trying to make a mask of your own, I would recommend getting a foam head for cheap, whichever is closest to your head size. That's what would work best. Otherwise, you might end up hot gluing some of your hair strands together and having to spend ages in the shower having to pull each hair piece apart, especially for someone with long hair. I personally think I did rather well with this. I put fabric around in the shape that I needed it, and hot glued it with a general notice of where I was going and touched it up after seeing some photos. And then I put cardboard and folded it in half and cut it out into the shape I wanted. I then used a 3D pen to go along and make some plastic mesh over the eyes so that I could see out of it with it still having that comic booky look. It kind of looks like something from Party City and I'm not too happy with this, but I think overall it did relatively alright. If you want to make one of these for yourself, I'd recommend using some more textury fabric. I just had some boring old regular fabric, plus it was a bit tight. Maybe get something a tad loose or something stretchy. That's what would work best, I think. Next up, we've got 2 Spider-Man suits I've made. I've made 2 different styles, a Ditko and a Spectacular Spider-Man suit. I'm just going to be showing the shirts I've made for this suit because I'm not very happy with everything else and the Ditko style's pants are gone. And the masks I use are usually just put together with the one mask I have. I've made others, but the mask I already own, which I purchased, I think is a lot better. because I can move the lenses on their own without having to use a remote or anything. Let's start with the spectacular Spider-Man suit, shall we? I think it's pretty good. I like the colors, though I can admit that it should be a bit darker on the blue there. The webbing is a tad off, but overall I think I did pretty well with it. And the spider logo isn't accurate to the show, but it is accurate to the comic Spider-Man logo that we see nowadays most often. Personally, I feel like I could have done a lot of things better with this one, and I didn't use my usual method. For this, I used 2 sweatshirts and a sewing kit. I sewed the blue and red portions together, and I should have just gone with what I'm good at, hot glue, because using the sewing kit means it's much more likely to fall apart, and I can't go out in this thing because I'm too worried that it'll fall apart while I'm wearing it. It's really unfortunate. I do think that this is overall a really good design, but I don't think I did very good in execution. I'll have to try to do better next time. Next up, I'm going to be showing off my Steve Ditko style Spider-Man cosplay. I think I did pretty good with this one. It's my favorite out of all the cosplay items I've made for sure. I used, again, 2 sweaters, which if you're wondering where I got them, during winter season you can get them both from Walmart. They're pretty high quality and very comfortable. I wouldn't have to worry about anything bad happening to them in general at all. These are definitely some solid sweaters, and I'd recommend using them if you need some stuff for cheap cosplay. I hot glued the sweaters together, and then, using some extra fabric from the black one, I cut out a spider logo. I tried to make it a tad more blue by painting it that color, but it didn't go the way I wanted it to. It looks too blue, and I wanted it to just be a tad lighter than the rest of the black of the suit. You might notice that this isn't quite a Steve Ditko first appearance suit because of the logo on the back being red. This isn't a first appearance suit, it's just a Steve Ditko style suit with the red and black color scheme. This is definitely my favorite out of all of them, plus the execution turned out really good. I would recommend measuring your torso beforehand or having it professionally measured so that you don't have to worry about hot gluing it while it's on your body. That's definitely included some issues for me personally. Other tips I might have for this is making sure you trace out the size of your logo before you put it down. I just put out a general logo idea and hot glued it on. I wasn't really thinking much when I made this. This was also one of my earlier cosplay items for Spider-Man. I think I could have done a bit better, but it's alright. My next cosplay I'm going to be making is going to be a full-sized Freddy Fazbear and a full-size Spring Bonnie cosplay. I haven't quite started finishing these up yet. I haven't started the Freddy at all, and I'm nearly done with Spring Bonnie. Once I finish them up, if you'd like, I'll make videos on them respectively. Also, that new Nindoroid Freddy Fazbear that got revealed recently is definitely going to be something I order. If you'd like to see a review on that, please let me know. I'll be making them all. Also, please let me know whether or not you liked my new audio. I found an old set of headphones I wasn't using anymore that were kind of broken in the headphone part, but not the microphone part. So I'm hoping you all enjoyed the audio a tad more than last time. It was a bit hard for even me to listen to. I also updated the images of my new little guy down here a little bit. I made sure they were transparent so the white background wasn't overlaying any other pictures. Those were the 2 things I liked least about my last video, and every time I make a new one, I'd like to improve at least one thing about my videos. Another thing I changed today was the background. I hope you enjoyed that as well. It was not very difficult, I just found an image off Google that wasn't previously licensed. Anyways, that'll be about all. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching. Let me know what else you might want to see in the future. Overall, this has been Ace Productions, and thank you all so much for watching. Bye-bye! Hello everybody, real quick, I'd just like to say that I really appreciate all this wonderful fan art I've gotten. I appreciate every single bit of it. It means so much to me, and I never expected to get this much this early. I'll put everything on the screen as long as who created it. And if you'd like to send anything to my email, it should be in the description or comments of this video. Every bit of fan art really means so much to me, and I appreciate it so much. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Here's the fan art. Bye!